This tutorial is going to teach you how to design the Puma logo. So we're going to go to our third artboard and we're going to design the Puma logo. So we're going to go File, Place. Actually, we want to make a new layer first. Let's make a new layer first. So let's go New Layer and we'll call it Puma Logo Template. Then we're going to place it, so File, Place. And we're going to place the Puma logo on that layer. Now we're going to make it a little bit larger, so we're going to click on it, hold the Shift key, go to one of the corners till we see the double-sided arrow and drag it larger. Alright, so now we're going to make a new layer and call it My Puma Logo. So click, My Puma Logo. And I'm going to change it from magenta to an orange, since yellow and orange seem to go together. And then I'm going to say OK. So now I'm going to be functioning again on my logo layer as opposed to the template layer, because I'm going to be drawing it. So the first thing you can do is, if you want, you can do the text, because that's fairly easy. So we can go ahead and click on our color. We can go for our text tool, and we can change our color up here from red to black. We're looking for a big, bold, sans serif font. Again, there aren't very many choices on the fonts that you guys have, but you're going to try to find something similar. Now, in the future, you could always go to dafont.com and download and install the font, but make sure you take the font file and put it in the folder that you have your project in. So we want to go for a sans serif. I'm going to try Gill Sans Ultra Bold. It's a very typical font. You should have that, and pretty basic, although it's not going to match up very well, so we're going to say Puma. So it's quite different. I'm going to highlight it and see if I can find something with a little bit more square in the P, like around here, as opposed to the curve. Wide Latin might work, so we can go down there because that's a basic font that you should have within your Photoshop. You can also hit the letter W, and that'll take you down to W. And we can try Wide Latin. It is not a sans serif, so that's probably not going to work well. Poplar ST Black is not that great either. So we're going to keep looking and find one that's pretty good. Again, it needs to be pretty big and bold. You might not have a pretty good font. I'm going to try Krugthep. That's pretty decent. I think I'm going to go with the Krug, whatever this one is. Again, I know it's a font that I've downloaded and you don't have, so find one that's similar. I'm going to make it larger. I think we're going to probably have to go into, let's try 272. Too much. Let's try 172. A little large. So what I can do is I can move my Puma over it, and I can then transform it. So Command T to transform. Hold the Shift key, go to the corner and pull inward, and make it about the size of the Puma. And then if I want to check the work that I have, I can go to my layers, turn off the Puma template, and there is my Puma. So now the next thing I have to do is trace the cat. So I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to get my pen tool. And again, I'm going to use a no fill, and I'm going to use a stroke of something that's different so I can see where my stroke is. That way it's easier to see what you're making, and then I can change the color at the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my pen tool, and if you have the caps lock key on, you're not going to see the pen, so I'm going to turn the caps lock key off so I can see the pen icon. And again, we have to think about where they've done the curves. So it looks like it curves here, so I'm going to click here, and it looks like I could probably get to around this area and get it to curve properly. I could try up here, but I think it's not going to go because it curves and it arches a little bit, but we can just click and try. So click, hold, try, pull, 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 adjust, adjust, adjust. And there we have part of it. So again, just like we did in the other tutorials, we're moving the pen to the anchor point. Remember, an anchor point is whatever little square that you clicked with your pen tool to create a point to attach a line to. So I'm going to move the pen tool towards the anchor point, and it says anchor, and I do see that little V, so I'm going to click and get rid of one of the handles. So I'm going to click around the tail, click, hold, and curve it. Let go, delete the anchor point. Click around the tail. Now I can't probably go that far, so I'm going to go here. Click and curve it. It's getting a little pointy, do you see? So that means I probably need to adjust where I clicked. So I'm going to hit Command Z to undo, and I'm going to click a little closer. Looks better. Delete my anchor point. Click in this area right here, curve it again. You want to make sure it's not too pointy where the 2 points are. You see how if it goes backwards, it goes pointy? So we're going to try to make it a little bit more curved. Delete my handle. Click here, push inward to get it to curve. Delete my anchor. Click around, click, hold, and pull. If you ever click off your pen tool and off your path, which is the points and the lines, you can always select the path again with your tool and click and add, and it'll let you add to the point. So now I'm going to click and do the haunches. So it looks like I was too far out, so I'm going to undo. Click closer to the black, hold, and draw the line. Click and delete my anchor point. So then I'm going to just click again down here, click, hold, and pull, adjust, delete the handle. So it's just like we've done with the pen tool. You just have to figure out where they clicked. Sometimes you might click in another location and it doesn't work out quite well. Then you can just press Command Z to go back in time, and then have a better way to try to click on a different point, so that way you can try to have a better shape. So I'm going to try to click up here, see if it works. Delete my handle and keep going. So that's how you can adjust your pen tool. It's pretty close. Click and hold. The nice thing about vector graphics is that when you create them, since they're a vector graphic, as my dog just tries to yank out my laptop cord, the vector graphic is points and lines and dots, so that way you can scale it and make it very, very large, which is why we do your logos as a vector graphic. So I'm going to click in its armpit, click and hold, do the underbelly, click, drag, pull, 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 let go, click, delete. Again, you have to kind of really eye and look where you think they clicked. You can't have two curves in one line. So I'm going to click here, click, hold, drag for the elbow, push, push, push. Pull back up, push over, pull up to get it to go down. So if you want it to go down, you pull up. So I'm going to click here. So if I pull down, it goes up. Click here, delete my anchor point, or my handle. Click here, start curving the little paw. Delete. Click up top. Curve it. You have to watch because you don't want it to get pointed, because you see how it's looking pointed right there. So I'm going to say Command Z and undo, and maybe click a little bit closer, so that way it can curve a little bit easier. Delete my handle, click and continue my curve. And you don't have to click exactly where I click. You can try to find where you think it looks best to click, and you might find an area that's a little bit better to click. Delete the handle, and so on and so forth until you complete the shape in a 0 at the end, and then fill it with black.